Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Okay, let's start with checking this homework. Here, in several of his paintings, Edward Hicks depicted, the Quaker farm in Pennsylvania, where he spends his youth. What do you think? Where he?
He spent.
Yes, in the past. Florida has become the 27th state in the United States.
He became.
Thank you very much. In the past, because we have here a specific time in the past. Very good. After last week's meeting, the advertising department quickly realized that the procedure will not need the product. Would. John F. Kennedy grandfather, John Fitzgerald, serves.
You said the answer.
Served it, yes. Fort and what strategically important fortification during the revolution had since been reconstructed and turned into a museum.
It's not clear for me. The construction for this statement is not clear for me.
Okay. Strategically important fortification like a fort, qal'a, during the revolution had been reconstructed and turned into a museum.
Yes, it's correct.
I'm sorry? I'm sorry?
I can't find
Okay, هنا احنا يعني why use perfect past? Had been reconstructed.
Yes,
something happened in the beginning, before the past, something happened in the past.
No, I think there is a problem in this sentence. I think it's correct because this happened in the beginning and then they turned to a museum.
Yes.
I don't think there is a problem here.
Yeah.
No, it's correct. Okay, number 6. In making their calculations, institute researchers assume that the least costly form of energy would be used.
Will be used.
Thank you. A 21-year-old man became the second casualty yesterday when he lost. Many, or maybe had lost also because it happened first. He had lost, then he became the second casualty. It would be better if we said had lost. Most people had written with quill pens until pens with metal points became popular. In a determined drive to pay its debt, Time Warner is launching a stock offering plan that would potentially raise that. Yes, offered. Is launching? No, is launching. This is present. Okay, is launching a stock offering. This is a compound noun. This is a noun, so it's correct. Is launching a stock offering plan that will.
That will.
And we keep it in present. Okay. The formula used in the study calls for either peroxide or metal hide, but metal hide was not always available.
A use and D is
uses. Yes, uses. لا ما هي يا اما uses يبقى هنا is. لا.
Yes.
No. Used here. The formula used in the study calls for either. Used here means which is used because calls is the verb. Okay, the formula which is used in the study calls for either peroxide or calls here is the verb here, and the verb is in present. We cannot change it. We cannot change the verb in present. So it is.
It is.
Okay.
What's the location of used?
The formula which is used in the study, and this is reduction. The formula used in the study calls.
Yeah,
okay, next, number 1. In the United States declined from 20 million.
The number of horses.
The number of horses, simple structure. Because of his reservations about the issue, refused to vote for it.
The senator.
The senator?
Yes, thank you very much. Bats avoid running into objects by
Emitting.
emitting. Thank you very much. It has been estimated that if we intend to stay above the starvation level, comma, the food supply. If subject verb, comma, subject verb, the food supply.
We must double.
We must double. Okay. Of course, we cannot choose A. Why? Because there is so. And we cannot use so with if. Remember? Or and. Okay, good, very good. Number 5, to determine an object's force, the mass and speed of the object must be measured. Must be
Measured.
measured. Thank you very much. The most common time for tornadoes occur in R. The most common time for tornadoes to occur are is, okay. Automakers Nissan and Ford and several are working lately to supply active noise cancellation to entire cars and planes.
I think this D, the entire.
To the entire cars and planes. Yes, yes. This is the only possible part where there is a mistake. When a country in an early stage of development, comma, investments in fixed capital are vital.
The fixed.
In the fixed capital or a fixed capital. Capital is a singular noun and therefore it needs what? It needs a subject. It needs an article. Good. John Chapman became famous in American folklore as Johnny I don't know what after he plants apples. After he
had planted.
Planted or had planted, yes. Okay, good. In as much he the error here is very clear. As much as. Thank you very much. He kept blah blah blah. Okay. Passives. More homework. Okay. After the old radiator had been replaced, the travelers continued their cross-country trip.
Incorrect. Had been.
After the radiator had been replaced. Thank you very much. Yes. During the lightning storm, he struck in the head. He
was struck.
Was struck. Was. Yes.
Was.
Okay. A book being written now by a team of writers will be published.
Number 3, first.
Number 3, while I'm on vacation, the pets should be fed. Shall be. Should be fed. Fed.
Should be fed, yeah.
A book being written by a team of writers will be published.
Is correct?
Correct. I found out that, okay, of course, this is deduction. A book which is being written, and then we remove which, is a book which is being written, a book being written, okay? I found out that the real estate agent had already been leased the condominium.
Correct.
How come correct? Had already been leased. The agent, السمسار, had already been leased. Can be يؤجر ولا can be أجر? Had been leasing. Had been leasing or had leased. Both are correct. Had leased, had been leasing, but you need it in active, not in passive. Okay?
Okay.
The house that Mrs. Martin has always wanted to buy has just been placed. The foundation should have been finishing by the construction workers. The foundation should have been finished. We must leave that money in the checking account because the bills pay on the 1st of the month.
Be paid.
The bills be paid, be or should be paid. Shall be paid, are paid, will be paid. Yes. The horses can't be taken out now because they have been rode. They have been
Written.
Written. It's being announced by a presidential aide that a lawyer from Virginia has been named Attorney General.
Correct.
Correct. Discussed by the board of directors when it was proposed again by the supervisors.
The problem had already been.
Yes. The X-ray treatments up to the time that he was dismissed from the hospital.
Must have been committed by.
Must have been. لا, number. I'm sorry. Number two. Much of the carnage of elephants, giraffes, and big cats, uncaring hunters must have been committed by. Most of the carnage, yes, must have been committed by. The X-ray treatments up to the time that he was dismissed from the hospital.
Were given daily.
Were given daily up to the time he was dismissed. Okay, very good. Particular issues that concern teenagers were covered. Electrical impulses may also be picked up. Okay. Workers training for a specific job have a strong responsibility of being replaced. On June 30, 1992, international timekeepers in Paris were added an extra second to the day.
Yeah, added.
The report could not be turned in on time because all the needed work had been lost. In English, these questions have been formed by changing the word order of order remains the same.
Have been.
As in some languages, the word order have been formed. Yes, have been. Okay. Number 10, he was not able to define the process by which the body had been protected. Thank you very much. Last thing in homework. Big Dipper, a 7-star constellation in the shape of a cup, is part of Yes, this is an appositive, correct?
Yeah.
Number 2, the military academy at West Point space on the west bank of the Hudson River, north of the New York City.
Is
located. Thank you. We need a verb. Number 3, impressive chapter in the book was the chapter on Stewart's scientific theories.
The most.
Thank you very much. Okay, the first fish have appeared on the earth approximately 5 million years ago.
Has appeared.
Lehead. Why head?
Not have.
Why have?
Has.
Why has? It said a goal.
Had. Sorry.
Well, ahead. It needs to be simple past.
It's appeared only.
Directly
Yeah,
That
appeared.
should be removed.
Appeared. Simple past. Had if we have 2 events that happened one after the other, correct?
Yeah.
So it needs to be simple present. Okay. Number 5. Only rarely sound waves are of a single, Only rarely
Are
sound waves. Inversion. Very good. Cameos can be carved not only from onyx and I don't know what, or from not only
but
also. Although most of the wild horses on the western range have already been rounded up, the most remote area, the greater the possibility that wild horses can I don't know what.
The better.
see more.
Okay, هنا عندنا comparative. يبقى هنا برضو ايه؟ Comparative. The most remote area.
Yep. The better.
The more remote area.
More.
Yeah, comparative from remote. Yeah, more remote. During this period, $2,206 was spent annually.
Be spent.
Spent. Thank you. The dangers of noise are
A is
Unfortunately, is of noise. The dangers of noise is
yeah.
the dangers are dangers of noise are صح dangers
Yeah, correct.
are not as clear as not as clear than.
Yes.
انا ملاحظ الباشمهندس مصطفى هو لوحده اللي عمل الهوم ورك ولا ايه؟ اميره did you do homework؟
I was so sick والله.
لا بأس عليك يا أمير شفاكم الله وعافاكم. In a recent study of Americans, more than 75% expressed the view that the government it should take. The government
C
should take. Remove it.
should take.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, يا باشمهندس.
You're welcome, doctor. Thank you.
Okay. Problems with we took this correct. Use the correct singular or plural noun. Did we take this? No, we didn't. No, we didn't. Okay. After
last with tip 6 we finish.
Okay, good. Okay, we said this before. We talked this before. We said after some expressions we use singular nouns like each, every, single. Remember, we took this before in a skill before, correct? One and of course a. And we said yesterday after any number more than one, any number more than one, we have to use plural noun, not singular nouns. Okay, like 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, and be careful. Because we are Arab speakers, be careful with numbers like 100 or 1,000 or whatever, because in Arabic we use singular nouns after them. In English we use plural also. Both also plural, many, several, various. After all these quantifiers, we call them quantifiers. After all these quantifiers, we use plural nouns. I think this is pretty easy. Huh? Now look at the questions 1 to 10. You have 1 minute. Think about a minute. Okay, correct or incorrect. Okay, let's see. The sales clerk demonstrated various additional way.
Incorrect. Way.
So it should be ways. Thank you. The woman found it difficult to believe that both of the pieces of jewelry. Thank you. The unhappy man became more and more discouraged with each passing days.
Day.
They.
Yes. An extended cruise would be a nice way to spend a vacation 1 day.
1 day.
1 day. The manager was surprised that not a single worker was available on Tuesday. Correct. The housekeeper cleaned the room and took 2 of the occupants' dress to the laundry. Dresses. When the first bill was defeated, the Senate immediately began work on different bills.
Different bill.
A different bill, of course. We use a and an only with singular nouns. Okay. There were several boxes in the cupboard, and each box contained a dozen glasses.
Dozen glasses without a is incorrect.
لا, dozen means 12. Dozen glasses, so this is correct. After a dozen, it's 1 dozen, okay? A dozen, after a dozen, we use plural noun. Like when we say 100, you don't say 100. You cannot say, for example, let's say, for example, I need $100. Don't say this. Say I need $100. A. Don't forget A. Okay.
I have a question.
1,000 also. 1,000. But after 1,000 and after 100, after the word 1,000, after the word 100, we use plural nouns. 1,000.
Yeah.
For example, students. Not. I have a question. Mira?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Can we get back to the questions? Question number 8.
Yes.
We said about apostrophe, the occupant's dress. We said a rule about apostrophe the last time. I don't remember exactly.
We
but
use
we
it only
said,
with people and time.
Yes, and I got confused.
Occupant, which occupant? The occupant is a human being. The human being who occupies a room in a hotel. Okay, is a human being. The one who resides in the room in a hotel. Okay. Any questions so far? Are we clear about a dozen? A dozen glasses, like 100 students or 1,000 women, for example. We use a.
Yes.
We use a. We dozen, but all this needs plural noun afterwards. Okay. And the rule of thumb, as we said before, the rule of thumb. Don't use any singular noun. I always see mistakes here, and this is very important. Any singular noun cannot occur on its own. If it's a singular noun, then it must be preceded by an article, a, an, or the. If it's a singular noun, there must be an article before the singular noun. Okay, I ate an apple. You cannot say I ate apple. Okay. For example, and of course, this mistake is very common among Arab speakers because we don't have a and an in Arabic. We don't have in Arabic a and an. أكلت تفاح. We don't have this concept of meaningless morphemes in general. So we tend to ignore the usage of all meaningless morphemes, especially indefinite articles a and an. I want you to pay attention. Don't use a singular noun without an article before it. Okay, especially if it's a compound noun or a big noun phrase, like, for example, I ate a delicious red apple. So apple is a singular noun. It needs a, okay, and don't get distracted by the adjectives in between. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, number 40, distinguish countable and uncountable nouns. Okay, the rule of thumb, countable nouns, it means, how do we distinguish countable from uncountable nouns? Okay, if of course we teach it, the rule is very simple. If you can count it, it's what? It's countable. If you cannot count it, it's like, for example, when you say, I need some coffee, your coffee is uncountable. Correct? And with uncountable nouns, of course, we do not use a and an. We use some. Okay. However, you can say, I need a coffee. A coffee here means what? Means like a cup of coffee. But this is informal. This is a bit informal. Okay. It's more formal to deal with coffee as uncountable. Clear?
Okay.
For countable nouns, you use quantifiers like many, a number of, or any number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, few, or a few. You can add a, and of course fewer. But for uncountable nouns, you use much, you use amount, an amount of money, a great amount of money, a great amount of news, little information, because information is uncountable. Some people deal with information as countable, but it is uncountable. Little information, little money, little news, and of course, less when we compare. Any problems? Is it clear?
Yes, clear. Yes.
Okay, look at the questions one. Okay, let's see. You will have fewer problems with your income taxes if you get professional help.
Incorrect. Should be few.
Now, fewer is the comparative of few. It means yani, less problems.
We're using
Okay?
fewer than or referring with the in comparison situation.
When you say fewer problems, it means fewer problems than the ones you have now. And it's understood this way. Okay? Like when you say, for example, Ali is younger, and you stop. And you understand that younger than the one you and I know about. Okay? After the strike, so this is correct. After the strike, the company dismissed many employees.
Is correct.
Correct.
Because the bottom corner of the pocket was torn, much coins fell out.
Incorrect. Many.
Many coins. Thank you very much. Yeah. Since he bought the new adapter, he has had less trouble with the machine. Correct. Trouble here is dealt with as an uncountable, so no problem. Correct. There are new items to purchase before leaving, and there is such a short amount of time.
Incorrect.
I think incorrect. Many.
Many items. Yes, thank you very much. Many. We don't use much with countable nouns. The less time you take on the assignment, the less pages you will complete. Do we use less with countable nouns?
So this should be fewer pages.
Fewer pages. Yes, thank you very much. The fewer pages. A few soldiers who had been in heavy combat were brought back for a little rest.
That's correct.
Correct.
I think correct.
It is better to go shopping in the late evening because there are less people in the market and you can accomplish a number of tasks in a short period of time.
Correct.
Correct. Recognize irregular plurals of nouns. Okay. Of course, we know that in order to pluralize nouns, we don't always add an S. So, of course, the rule of thumb is that we add S most of the time, but some nouns are irregular in this sense. So man is pluralized as men, woman, women, and it is pronounced as women, women, women. You see how I pronounce it? Women. Foot, feet, tooth, teeth, goose, geese, mouse, mice, child, children, ox, oxen, ox, tor, oxen, deer, deer, fish, fish, salmon, salmon, sheep, sheep, trout, trout. Mind you, all these nouns are countable. All these nouns are countable. And deer is the singular, and deer is the plural. Sheep is the singular, and sheep is the plural. Okay, you cannot say, for example, sheeps. Okay, words ending in is are always pluralized as es. So analysis and analysis, it's one analysis, and it's pluralized as analyses. You see how I pronounce it? Analyses, analyses, long vowel. Axis, axes. Crisis, crises. Diagnosis, diagnoses. Hypothesis, hypotheses. Parenthesis, parentheses. عارفين parenthesis الأقواس. Synthesis, syntheses. Thesis, theses. Clear? Everyone, are you following?
Yes,
Clear and
yes.
new, yes.
Okay. Words that end in a, like bacterium, bacteria. So bacteria is plural, and the singular is bacterium, a bacterium. You don't say, for example, tuberculosis is a bacteria. No, tuberculosis is bacteria, not bacterium, not is a bacteria, because bacteria is plural. Curriculum, this is singular, and the plural is curricula. Datum is singular, and the plural is data. Phenomenon and phenomena. Criterion and criteria. Problem?
No.
No.
Okay. Ends in nouns ending in I, like alumni. Alumni خريج حاجة معينة. Alumni and alumnus. Alumnus is the singular graduate of a certain school or a certain university. Alumnus and alumni. Bacilli, bacillus, cactus, cacti, or fungus, fungi, nucleus, nuclei, radius, radii, and stimulus, stimuli, stimulus اللي هو المحفز, stimuli, and syllabus, منهج, syllabi. Okay? I understand that some of these words might be new to you, but you have to know the singular and the plural of these nouns. Okay? Any problems so far?
No.
No, it's okay.
If you get back to Appendix H in the book, you will find some more interesting stuff on this issue. I encourage you to go to Appendix H. You have the book with you, okay? The PDF, go to Appendix H by the end and check more interesting irregular plural forms, okay? Now, look at questions 1 to 10. Okay, let's do it together. The syllabi for the courses is included. What do you think?
Correct.
Correct. The diagnosis that he heard today were not very.
Correct.
No, diagnosis, one diagnosis.
Disease.
Yeah, was. The diagnosis was. And the crisis is not going to be resolved until some pressure is relieved.
Correct.
Correct.
Correct. All of the alumni are attending. What do you think?
Alumina.
Correct.
Correct.
Because aluminum.
Yeah, alumni
said
plural.
aluminum.
Yeah,
It's
alumni.
plural. Okay.
في كمان alumna.
Salipi plural.
Yeah, في alumni ده plural والsingular بتاع alumnus.
Okay, number 3 is incorrect.
Number 3, the syllabus. Yes, syllabus. Yeah, I'm sorry. The syllabus singular are. I'm sorry. Syllabus are. Syllabi are. Syllabus is. Yes, very good. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I didn't notice. Number 7, a flock of geese were seen.
Actually, I couldn't remember all words. So this goose should be goose.
بغض
I
النظر.
think this is correct.
Correct.
Goose, geese, or
Okay, the singular is what?
Goose.
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 So we say what? Geese, correct? A flock of geese, مش كده؟ But it's one flock. يعني السبجكت هنا a flock. A flock. Were ولا was؟
It was.
Was.
صح كده؟
Was.
The teeth in the back of his mouth needs. Need.
Tooth or need.
Yeah. The fungi has spread throughout the garden.
Correct.
Have.
Okay, have, yes.
Have.
Have. The sheepdog is chasing after the sheep which are heading over the hill. Is
Correct.
chasing, I'm sorry, is chasing after. Chasing بيجري ورا. The
Correct.
sheepdog is chasing after the sheep which are blah blah blah. So it's correct. Okay.
Correct.
Distinguish the person from the thing. Okay. When I say, for example, Ralph Nader is an authoritarian authorization. Is an authorization. Ralph Nader is an authorization ولا is an author in the field of consumer affairs. Now we're talking here about an authorized what? An authorized what? An authorized, for example, person. Okay. So it's about meaning.
Person.
Yeah, we're talking about meaning here more than structure. There are many job opportunities in accountant. Well, in accounting, the person is accountant. The person is an accountant, and the thing is accounting. Okay, so it's about meaning. Okay. Okay. Look at these questions and try to figure out if they're true or not. Okay, let's check together. The sculpture worked from sunrise until sunset on his new project.
I think it's incorrect.
Okay, what is a sculpture? Sculpture is the piece of a sculpture itself. But the person who does this is the sculpturer. So for example, you know, Mahmoud Mukhtar was a famous sculptor. Okay, but Nahdat Masr is a sculpture. The Sphinx is a sculpture. But the one who does the sculpture is called a sculpturer. Okay? Clear?
Yes, okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so here. He has received several awards from her research in
Engineering.
engineering. Thank you very much. The Economist's radical views were printed in a column in the Sunday newspaper.
Correct.
Correct. You must have remarkable looks to work as a model for Vogue.
Correct.
Why? What's incorrect about it? It's correct. To work as a model. Okay, correct. He had several critics to offer about the critics. The person is a critic, but the critic provides what? Criticism.
What does mean criticism?
نقد. Okay, criticism النقد. And critic النقد. The gardener worked, the person is a critic. Okay, the gardener worked feverishly after the frost
ارحمني بقى.
to save as many plants as possible.
Correct.
The gardener worked feverishly after the frost to save as many plants as possible. Correct. The company hired a statistic. No. Statistic and statistics. This is the noun, but the person is called what?
statistician. statistician.
If somebody pronounce it correct, there will be a prize. Statistician. A statistician. Statistician. Statistics and statistician. So the company hired a statistician. The famous acting has appeared in more than 50 Broadway plays. For 50 Broadway
Incorrect.
plays.
Famous actor.
The famous actor or actress. Very good. Very good. Can you do this activity? Okay, let's check together. Number one, the professor does not give many exams in chemistry class.
Exams.
Exams, you said the answer.
Okay, as always, exams. And chemistry class, it should be in the chemistry class, by the way, because
Also, the ones incorrect.
does not give many exams in the chemistry class, but the ones she gives are difficult. No problem. The ones it's correct. No
You can say the ones. Okay.
Yeah, of course. The ones. His thesis includes an analysis of the hypothesis.
Either analysis or omit n.
Yes, an analysis or omit n. It was his dream to be a musical in New York. Musician. Thank you very much. For the reception, the caterers prepared a large amount of food to serve a large number of people.
Correct.
Many job opportunities exist in the field of nurse, in the field of
nursing.
Thank you very much. For each business trip you make, you can choose from many different airlines.
Correct.
The stimulus for his career change is his acknowledgement that he is in that end job.
Correct.
Stimulus is correct. She wants to undergo a series of treatments, but she thinks it costs a little too much money.
This is incorrect.
Why incorrect? It's correct. No problem with it.
What does mean a little too much?
A little too much, يعني too much بس مش too much قوي. It is used. Yeah, it is used. You see, sometimes natives do stupid stuff. It is used.
Okay.
The television producer that she was shown last night on the CBS net, but don't use it. I mean, don't use it in writing. You can use it in speaking, but don't use it in writing. The television producer that was shown last night on the CBS network from 9 to 11 was one of the best shows of the season.
Television producing.
TV producer.
The television production that was
Or
shown.
production. Or
Yeah, the production that was shown, not the producer that was shown. Okay, it was one of the best shows.
Mhm.
Various sightseeing excursion were available from tourist agency. Various sightseeing
Was.
excursions. No, we cannot say various excursion. You have to make it plural. Various excursions were available. Because various, we have various here.
What
Okay.
does mean excursions?
فسح.
فسح.
Outings for fun, yeah. Okay, so this is homework, and I expect, okay, this is also homework, okay, and I think we can stop here. Okay, any questions so far?
No, thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
you.
so much.
You're
Thank
most
you.
welcome.
Wow.
Salam alaikum.